Fiskerma Hula it's Colin from Ghaol. Welcome to the second Koerst Leacher, a monthly video update as to what's going on in Camp Ghaol. Got lots to talk about today, and if you're new here, this is sort of behind the scenes, things you haven't seen, stuff you haven't heard, insight from what's going on with the band, and we're going to start with Dorn Air festival in Ireland. It was our first overseas show, and I'm going to throw to old Colin, who recorded this bit within 24 hours of coming home. So, Callan, take it away. I don't really know where to start with Dorn Air. Headline summary, excellent show, unexpectedly excellent show. We would love to come back, and we hope we get asked back. But there was so much going on. So even on the day itself, afternoon off, like a few hours before we played, Stuart, drummer, was visibly unwell. Paul had been under the weather for days and basically coughed his way on our drive from Belfast to the West Coast. And the bands who were on before us were like a total range of different genres, including a group of super talented teenagers playing like the fiddle and the accordion. So, and particularly the reaction we were going to get. But the show itself was great. It started off, as often these shows do, quite quiet, quite reserved, but I could see there was a bunch of teenagers in the front who were like itching to get involved. And unlike Belladrum, where we did have people just jump in and start the pits for us, I decided I should start it because no one else was going to. And so I basically just started mildly assaulting the people around me. And by the end of the show, it was chaos. Couple other fun tidbits. We were staying in a beautiful hostel at the foot of Ghaol mountain. It's a beautiful part of the world, very picturesque. We went to the abandoned church of Dunlewy before the show and got some really cool promo shots. Shout out to Paul for having an eye for these things. And we met this really nice dog who was a very obedient dog, as you can see. We also were very aware that the language of the festival, as we were told ahead of time, was Gaelic or Gaelic. And that meant that everything that was said, particularly on stage, but even in conversations at the venue itself, had to be in Gaelic as much as possible. And that was a real challenge, but it got easier the longer the day went on. There is some intelligibility between Gaelic and Gaelic. It's much easier for me to read it and figure out what's being said. Having conversations with people as Gaelic, difficult. And then we had to walk back to the hostel, which is about 1 kilometre, and in total darkness. So we recreated some horror scenes with Finlay, which I think was much funnier for us at the time. Pick up anything.
Oh, fuck no.
Let's talk about Skris. This was the EP that we put out at the end of August. If you're yet to check it out, please do. There are some bangers on there. I'll talk about my favourites in a second. Some fun facts. That cover is me in our spare room with various accoutrements. Rehuv Nhorain. My favourite would be Iranor, and I think that is reflected in the plays on Spotify. We were surprised that Tok Jalav has not done as well as it did, or we thought it was going to, because it's got a good chorus. It's arguably the most kind of accessible of the lot, but maybe in time, Hishing, maybe it will do a little bit better. And then there's Ravig, which the end of it samples Isla Scott's Nu Higgis and Eich. You'll hear that sort of angelic couple of seconds towards the end before the final breakdown. That is in Toran Charlemsa Jimbliana. It's a beautiful song, and I sort of wanted to pay homage to her and her incredible songwriting and performing ability. And so, yeah, it took a couple of seconds before going into that breakdown. So that is Isla Scott, huge fan, very different to what we do, but that is the snippet you hear at the end of the song. We had a band dinner a couple of weeks ago, which was great. It was really nice just to sort of debrief everything that's happened over the last couple of months, but also to look ahead as to na planningen a hakinja son an aflana. We have a formalized kind of 12 to 18 month plan. I'm not going to say too much about it just now, but it includes new music and playing in places that we have not played in before. So that's as much as I'm going to say, but if you want to be the first to know about these shows, join the mailing list. If you're already on it, you're amazing. Next up, let's talk about Gentian Nolik. We are going to go with two variations, one in red, one in green. A test run has been ordered just to see what it looks like. But here's a preview. If you're watching this in October, then the pre-orders are going to go live from Monday, November 3rd until I think probably 2 weeks, because that means we then have pretty much 2 weeks to get them ordered and then shipped out, ideally before the end of the month. So that's the time frame we're going to be working with. Pretty tight, but we will be sending out an email with that pre-order link. We'll put it all over our socials, and you can decide whether you want it in green, whether you want it in red, various sizing, but this will be a pre-order. We are not going to have stock left over. It is going to be however many orders we get, that's how many we're going to make. And lastly, we are about to play the Hug and Pint in Glasgow. It's going to be our very first Glasgow show. It's kind of our hometown show. We're very excited. We are going to dress up for it, so if you're watching this before the show and you're coming along, feel free to join in and wear some fancy dress. I'm going to keep the costume reveals a surprise for now, but in our next video newsletter in Avius, you'll see what we decided to go with. I'll give you a clue. It's not cohesive. We've not all decided to be sort of Ghostbusters. It's all going to be a little bit different, but it's going to be very, very Ghaol. It should be a very fun, very sweaty, probably very hot gig, despite the fact it will be, start of November. But we're really excited for it. I know there's a lot of friends and supporters of the band who are coming along to this very first hometown show. And yeah, next month we'll have some exclusive footage, some behind the scenes stuff. All right, that is going to do it. I have a train to catch because I ha operakum aan een loning in Czechia. So yeah, thank you so much again for watching. Really appreciate all your support of Gaelic Metalcore and Ghaol in particular. And I will see you next time. Cheerio.